Welcome the young minds of class 8th. I am Nancy Bora, your digital mentor, and today we will be starting with chapter 3, Resources, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife. So let us get the ball rolling. Today we are going to discuss importance of natural vegetation and wildlife, classification of natural vegetation, conservation of natural vegetation, conservation of wildlife, factors affecting natural vegetation in India, and distribution of wildlife. So now, let's get us familiar with some geographical terms. First is sanctuary. A protected area for the wild animals is known as sanctuary. Second is national park. An area strictly reserved for wildlife is known as national park. Third is biosphere reserve. A huge area where wildlife is protected without changing the lifestyle of tribal people is known as biosphere reserve. And fourth is wildlife. It refers to any living organism living in its natural habitat. Now, let's start with introduction. Natural vegetation and wildlife are valuable natural resources. They exist in the biosphere, a place where the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere meet. Now, let us talk about importance of natural vegetation and wildlife. The importance of natural vegetation and wildlife is immense in the life of humans. Plants provide us with oxygen, items of daily use, food in the form of cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, etc., and other articles like timber, firewood, resin, and medicines. Besides, plants check soil erosion, control global warming, and prevent floods. They also support the livelihood of a number of tribal communities and forest dwellers. Nature and its forests also provide home to the wildlife. Now, have you ever thought about why should we save the rainforests? Rainforests are an absolutely essential resource. Let's know why is it our responsibility to save them. First, indigenous people have thrived in rainforests since the beginning of time. Many of them are facing extinction as the rainforests are diminishing. Secondly, without the rainforest to soak up the rain and release it slowly, floods and droughts would become more common and global warming and climate change would be accentuated. Thirdly, rainforests are a place for migratory birds to live during harsh northern winters. When a rainforest is cut, the soil erodes and the land becomes a desert. We need to change the way we use the rainforest land to keep it rich and verdant. Our atmosphere clear and healthy, and the abundance that thrives here are available to future generations. Based on the above passage, let's answer some few questions. First question is, what would happen if rainforest did not soak up the rain? Secondly, what is our responsibility towards the future generation? This passage was adopted from this site. Now, animals provide us with milk, meat, eggs, honey, fur, feather, and hide. They are used for plowing and as beasts of burden. Dead and decaying plants and animals provides humus to make the soil fertile. Animals help in maintaining the balances in the ecosystem through food chain and food web. The interaction between plants and animals with their environment is called an ecosystem. Here are an image from products from plants and products from animals. Now, let us talk about factors affecting natural vegetation. Natural vegetation refers to the original vegetation of any human interface. The growth of natural vegetation depends on the climatic factors like temperature and moisture because plants require air, sunlight, water, and nutrients to grow. There is a wide variety in natural vegetation because the factors influencing the growth of plants vary from place to place, like relief of the land, climate, that is temperature and moisture, and human factors like economic development of a region. Now, let's talk about classification of natural vegetation. Natural vegetation can be classified into forest, grasslands, shrubs, desert, and tundra vegetation. First, let us know about forests. Forests can be described as clusters of trees growing close together. Sometimes the trees grow so close together that their tops form a canopy, from which even sunlight cannot penetrate. Forests grow in hot and humid climate and are not found in very cold regions. They can be divided broadly into two types, evergreen and deciduous forest. However, these broad varieties have several subgroups. First, Let's talk about evergreen forest. Evergreen forests derive their name from the fact that their trees do not shed leaves in any particular season. Thus, these forests remain green throughout the year. Evergreen forests are divided into 4 subgroups. Here is an image of lianas in interior of lowland rainforest, La Selva Biological Station, Costa Rica. Now, let's talk about tropical evergreen forest. Tropical evergreen forests are commonly found in the equatorial region like the Amazon and Orinoco River basins in South America, Zaire Basin in Africa, the Southeast Asian countries, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, New Guinea, and parts of Philippines. They have hot and wet climate throughout the year. These forests mostly have hardwood trees that are tall and dense with broad leaves. Often these tall trees form overhead canopies. Trees here are found at various heights, giving rise to varieties of different levels of vegetation. These trees include mahogany, ebony, cinchona, rosewood, and rubber. As these forests are dense, they do not allow sunlight to penetrate the grounds, giving rise to damp ground covered with mosses and lichens. Climbers and giant creepers called lianas grow here. In tropical forest, a large variety of trees are found in a small area, making commercial utilization of the forest difficult. Now, let's connect to geography for a minute. The dense luxuriant vegetation of the Amazon and Congo river basins are also called selva. Let's talk about temperate evergreen forest. Temperate evergreen forests are found along the eastern margin of the continents in the warm temperature. These include South China, South Japan, Southeast Brazil, Southeast Australia, and parts of Southeast USA. Here, the summers are very hot and experience heavy rainfall. A mixed variety of hardwood trees that grow here provide valuable timber. The trees found here are oak, pine, walnut, mulberry, eucalyptus, wattle, camphor, and bamboo. Wolf, antelope, bear, and deer are the animals found here. Here is an image of temperate evergreen forest of Yarra Ranges, Victoria, Australia. Now, let's talk about Mediterranean forest. Mediterranean forests are found in the both hemisphere on the western margin of the continents, in the areas surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, southern Europe, that is Portugal, Spain, Italy, South France, Yugoslavia, Turkey and Greece, West Asia, that is Cyprus, Israel, Lebanon and Syria, California, Central Chile, South Africa, Southern Australia, South America and Northwestern Africa, that is Morocco, Algeria and Tunisia. Summers are dry and winters are rainy here. These forests are not very dense. The trees here are broad-leaved and evergreen. They are of medium height. Some of them have special adaptive features like thick barks, small waxy leaves, and long roots to combat the summer heat. Olive, oak, cork, oak, fig, laurel, pine, fir, cedar, cypress, and citrus fruits like orange and lemon grow here. Grape pines are common too. Wolves, foxes, wild boars, rabbits, vultures, and eagles are the common animals seen here. Now, let's talk about coniferous forest. Popularly known as taiga, coniferous forests are found between 55° and 70° latitudes in both hemispheres. They include South Canada, South Alaska, Norway, Sweden, Poland, Finland, North Russia, and Siberia. The temperature is low here all around the year. The trees here are tall and straight with small needle-like leaves. They provide softwood useful for making furniture, matchsticks, paper, newsprint, and sports accessories. These trees include pine, fir, spruce, and cedar. Silver fox, mink, and black and brown bear are the animals that can be seen here. Now, let's talk about deciduous forest. Deciduous forests derive their name from the fact that the trees found here shed their leaves during a particular time of the year, usually during the dry season. Deciduous forests can be divided into 2 subgroups, tropical and temperate. Now, let's brainstorm a little. Why do deciduous trees shed their leaves during the dry season? Now, let's talk about tropical deciduous forest. Tropical deciduous forests are located in the regions that have a monsoon climate. These forests are popularly known as monsoon forests. They are found in the Indian subcontinent, Sri Lanka, Northeast Australia and Southeast Asia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan, South China, Central America and parts of Brazil. They experience monsoon climate with alternate dry and wet spells. The forests are less dense than the rainforest. The trees are of medium height and shed their leaves in the dry season. They have commercial value and include teak, sal, sandalwood, bamboo and eucalyptus. There is a dense undergrowth of bushes and shrub in these forests. Tropical forests have a wide range of wild animals and reptiles: crocodiles, snakes, anacondas, colorful birds, monkeys, orangutans, tigers, leopards and rhinoceros. Here is an image of tropical deciduous forests in South India. Now let's talk about temperate deciduous forest. Temperate deciduous forests are found in the cool temperate region in the eastern and western margin of the continents. They cover northeast USA, northwest Europe, that is British Isles, Norway, Sweden, Finland and Russia, and northern parts of China and Japan, North and South Korea, southern part of Chile and New Zealand. Temperate deciduous forests are named so because the temperature here is temperate or moderate. These forests receive 30 to 60 inches of rain every year and are ranked second only to rainforest as the rainiest biome. Although the average temperature is 50 degrees Fahrenheit, winter here typically has temperature below freezing. The trees of the temperate deciduous forest have leaves that change color with the season and eventually fall to the ground during winter. The vegetation includes large oak, maple, beech, chestnut, hickory, elm, basswood, linden, walnut and sweet gum trees. Shrubs like rhododendrons, azaleas, mountain laurels, huckleberries, lichens, club mosses and true mosses are found here. Black bears, wolves and coyotes are the common animals that live in the temperate deciduous forest. Now, let's talk about forest fires. A forest fire is an uncontrolled fire occurring in nature. Sometimes the forest fire spreads over large area and takes a long time to be put off, resulting in great destruction of flora and fauna. A forest fire is also called wildfire, bush fire, grass fire, etc. according to the vegetation it damages. Here is an image of forest fire in Australia. Now, let's talk about causes of forest fire. First is natural. Natural forest fires are usually caused due to lighting in places where little or no rain accompanies a stormy weather. Secondly is man-made. It is estimated that 9 out of 10 forests are caused by humans. The most common cause of man-made fire is the use of open flames and disposable barbecue grills. Even a cigarette that is not properly extinguished, fallen power lines, sparks from trains, sparks from edge trimmers along roadways or sparks from tools and forestry machinery being used in the forest can cause fires. Now, let's dive into the effects of forest fire. First is negative. Forest fire causes loss of valuable forest resources like timber, destruction of landscape, extinction of many animals and plants and soil erosion. The smoke, ashes and residue on land and in air causes breathing problem. Many forest dwellers who are dependent on forest products lose their means of livelihood. Second is positive effects. Surprisingly, forest fire also have some positive effects. They clear up the forest of dead and decaying matter and help to maintain a balance in the ecosystem by removing plants infested with pests and harmful insects. It clears build-up vegetation and helps in germination of seeds. Now, let's talk about prevention and control of forest fires. We can prevent the occurrence of forest fires by being aware of the causes of wildlife. Various steps to prevent a forest fire are: always follow the laws governing burning of different kinds of things or materials. Avoid burning garbage, etc. when strong winds are blowing, as wind accelerate and spread fires. Burn garbage and campfires in controlled location where fire extinguisher equipments are also available. Avoid burning highly combustible things. Educate public about how to prevent fire. Lastly, authorities should place sensor and monitor forests to help in early detection of fire. A lot of water and firefighting chemicals are needed to extinguish the vast fires that spread rapidly. Sometimes aerial spray of water is necessary. People living near the forest have to be shifted to safe place. Natural barriers like rivers, lakes and ridge tops have to be marked by firefighters. 10 to 20 meters wide belt of land is cleared of trees to form an artificial barrier to keep the forest fire at bay. To control a forest fire, we must break the fire triangle of fuel, temperature and oxygen. This can be done either by robbing the fire of the fuel or by reducing the temperature and the supply of oxygen. Now, let's talk about grasslands. The areas that receive lesser rainfall have grasses growing between trees. These areas with long and tall grasses covering wide stretches of land are called grasslands. Half the area of the world is covered by grasslands. The location and extent of grasslands depend upon the rainfall the region receives. Grasslands are broadly classified into two types. First is tropical and temperate grasslands. Let's talk about tropical grasslands. Tropical grasslands are found in the tropical zone on either side of the rainforest. They are extensively located in the continent of Africa, that is Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Angola, Niger, Mali and Chad, where they are called savanna. They are also found in northern Australia, Brazilian highlands and Guiana highlands. They have a dry season with some rainfall in summers. The landscape is dotted with tall and coarse grasses interspersed with small trees and stunted thorny bushes. Elephants, giraffes, zebra and leopards are the popular wildlife found in these grasslands. Now, let's talk about temperate grasslands. Temperate grasslands are located between 30° and 50° latitudes in both hemispheres and are in the interior of the continents. The rainfall is inadequate here and hence these areas are treeless with varying height of grasses. The temperature varies between -20°C in winters to 21°C in summers. These grasslands have short grasses with scattered trees like willow, alder and poplar. Prairie dog, coyote, kangaroo, ostrich and emu can be seen here. Now, let's talk about shrubs. In areas with very high and low temperature and less rainfall, shrubs are also found. Normally, they grow in hot deserts and cold tundra regions. Now, let's talk about desert vegetations. Deserts are found in the tropics and subtropics in the western margins of continents. They are found in North Africa, that is Sahara, South Africa, that is Kalahari, Chile, that is Atacama, North America, that is Sonoran, and the Great Australian Desert, that is Australia, and Thar Desert, that is in India. The climate in the desert is very hot with no or very little rainfall. The vegetation here comprises of stunted trees and shrubs with thick and spongy stems, long roots and thorny wax-coated leaves which help them at retaining water. Cactus, kikar, bubble trees, thorny bushes, coarse grass and date palms are the main vegetation of deserts. Cold deserts are found in temperate regions in Asia and South America. They include Gobi Desert, Tibetan Plateau in Asia and Patagonian Desert in South America. Cold deserts are mostly barren. Here is an image of desert vegetation of Thar Desert in India. Now, let's talk about tundra vegetation. Tundra regions are located to the north of the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and upper areas of the high mountains. These regions are extremely cold. They are mainly found in Eurasia and North America. Let's brainstorm a little. Find out about xerophytic plants. Now, moving on, the vegetation comprises of mesas, lichens and grasses which grow in the slightly warmer regions. Birch, willow and variety of flowers also grow here. Polar bear, walrus, caribou, silver fox and mink are the common species of animals found here. Now, let's again brainstorm a little. Why do you think forests are being cleared? First, identify the two types of vegetation and second, name 4 trees that grow in that area. Now, Let me ask you some questions that you can answer orally. First, name the different types of evergreen forests. Second, name 5 trees of the Mediterranean region. Third, describe grasslands. And fourth, what types of vegetation do desert regions have? Now, let's talk about natural vegetation in India. The natural vegetation of India varies depending on the climate of the different regions. By and large, India experiences tropical monsoon climate with slight regional variations. A large part of the India receives adequate rainfall to support dense growth of forest. Now, here is a table of natural vegetation in India. You can see the first type is tropical evergreen rainforest. Here, rainfall is of more than 200 cm. The location is Western Ghats, Western Coast, Northeast states, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Vegetation found here is commercially important hardwood trees, namely mahogany, cinchona, wild rubber, and bamboo, and rosewood are found here. Tropical deciduous forest or monsoon forest. Rainfall here is between 75 to 200 cm. Location is water parts of the peninsular plateau, northern plains, that is up to Himalayan foothills, and the vegetation found here is shorter trees like bamboo, sal, teak, sandalwood, and shisham are found here. Bamboo is grown abundantly. Next up we have thorn forest. Here rainfall is of less than 50 cm. Location is parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab, and Haryana, and drier areas of peninsular India. Vegetation here is thorny bushes, cactus, acacia, that is kikar and babul, and date palms are found here. Next up we have mountain forest. Rainfall here is 20 to 50 cm. The location is Himalayas, higher hills of northeast and peninsular India. Vegetation found here is at altitudes between 1000 to 2000 meter above sea level vegetation. It comprises mainly of stunted trees. Temperate trees like pine, fir, deodar, and chestnut are found between 1500 to 3000 meter. Alpine, shrubs, grasses, birches, spruce, and pine grow above 3000 meter. Next up we have tidal forest, that is mangrove forest. Rainfall here is between 100 to 150 cm. Location is delta of Sundarban, that is West Bengal, swampy areas of the deltas of Mahanadi, Godavari, Kaveri, and Krishna. Vegetation here is trees, shrubs, ferns, and palms grow here. Sundari trees are the most popular and abundant trees found here. Now let's talk about conservation of natural vegetation. We have already learned about the usefulness of forests. Unfortunately, man is destroying them for a number of reasons. Trees are burnt, felled, and forests are cleared to make land available for agriculture, industries, and settlements, and also to obtain fuel from wood. Overpopulation has further increased this problem. Other natural factors like storms, forest fires, floods, droughts, insects, and diseases also destroy forests. This felling of trees and reduction of forest cover is called deforestation. There are a number of harmful effects of deforestation like soil erosion, hill slopes becoming barren, increase in temperature, decrease in rainfall, and destruction of wildlife habitat. There is an urgent need to stop deforestation and protect our natural vegetation from exploitation and destruction. Let's learn about some steps that can be taken to stop deforestation. Increase in the area under forest cover by planting more trees or afforestation. Declare cutting or destroying of trees an illegal activity with stringent punishment for people who destroy forest. Protect forests from forest fire. Discourage the practice of shifting cultivation. Prevent overgrazing by animals. And lastly, encourage social forestry, which involves participation of local people in planting and protecting trees for their environmental and social benefits. An international agreement called CITES, Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, ensures that trade in wild plants and animals does not threaten their existence and lead to their extinction. India has a long-term plan called the National Forestry Action Programme for increasing forest cover and preventing deforestation. It aims to bring 1/3 of the total land area under forest cover. Van Mahotsav is another program which is celebrated every year to encourage planting of trees. Here are some questions for you to answer orally. First, name 3 ways of conserving natural vegetation, and second, what is the full form of sites? Now, let's talk about distribution of wildlife. Wildlife refers to animals, birds, fishes and insects that are not domesticated. It is an important part of our ecosystem and their existence is very important to maintain the balance in our environment. There are a million of species of different animals in the world that live in the natural habitat provided by forests, grasslands and deserts. The type of wildlife in different regions depend on the types of natural vegetation and climate of that region. Similar species dwell in a particular type of climate and vegetation. Hence, every biome has its characteristic wildlife. First, let's talk about Africa. Africa has a very wide variety of wildlife. The tropical and equatorial forests of Africa are home to number of animal species like lions, tigers, leopards, monkeys, jaguars, apes, snakes, crocodile, elephants, rhinos and hippos. Thousands of species of birds and insects also live in this forest. The savannas are mostly inhabited by grass-eating animals like giraffes, zebra, deer and elephants. Flesh-eating animals like lions, tigers and leopards are also found here. Camels, ostriches, rodents, reptiles and insects are also found in the deserts. Here is an image of ostrich. Now, let's talk about North America. The main animals living in the warmer parts of North America are bisons, badgers, mooses, elks, beaver and hedgehogs. Animals with thick fur like reindeer, polar bear and Arctic fox, sables and musk oxen are found in the cold northern part of the continent. Why are fur-bearing animals common in the northern part of North America? Now, let's talk about South America. South America is rich in wildlife. Monkeys, jaguars, pumas, giant turtles and alligators can be seen in their forests here. The largest bird of prey in the world, condor and flightless birds like ostrich are also common here. Anteaters and armadillos are ancient mammals of South America. The Andes Mountains are home to llamas and anacondas found in the marshland. Now, let's talk about Europe. Europe does not have much wildlife because of lack of forest cover. Animals like wolves, wild boars, wild sheep, antelopes and polar bears are found in the cold upper regions of Europe. There are fur farms on which animals like minks, sable and ermines are reared. Partridges, skylarks, cuckoos and nightingales are the birds found here. Now, let's talk about Asia. Asia has a wide variety of vegetation and climate. Hence, many species of wildlife are found here. The tropical regions have animals like lions, tigers, elephants, monkeys and leopards. In the temperate region, cranes, herons, foxes and bears are found while the cold taiga and tundra regions are inhabited by polar bears, lynxes, minks, sable, musk oxen and Arctic foxes. Now, let's talk about Australia. Australia has many unusual types of animals like marsupials which carry their babies in their pouches. Kangaroo, koala and wallaby are some marsupials found here. The birds consist of emus, kingfishers, also known as kookaburras and lyrebirds. The duck-billed platypus is another unusual animal found in Australia. Let's brainstorm a little again. How does the Arctic fox's thick fur helps in its survival? Now, let's talk about Antarctica. Although Antarctica is snowbound, many animals and birds are found in regions where there is land and water. Antarctica is associated with penguins and the snow petrel, which is like a small white dove. The coastal regions are inhabited by seals and albatross, especially during summer. Whales and small krills are found in the water bodies of Antarctica. Now, let's talk about conservation of wildlife. Climatic factors like floods, landslides, tsunamis, forest fires, and human activities like deforestation construction and hunting of animals for their hide, tusks, horn and feathers have caused great damage to our wildlife and their habitat. This has led to extinction of many animals and various species have been endangered. There is an urgent need to protect our wildlife from further damage. A number of ways can help us to do this. First, strict laws should be passed against hunting of animals and killing of birds. Secondly, trading in animal products like hide, skin, tusks, horn and feathers should be declared illegal. Thirdly, awareness among people to conserve forests and wildlife should be increased. Fourthly, school children should be encouraged to participate in programs related to conservation of wildlife. And lastly, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves for protection of wildlife should be developed. Now, let's connect to geography again. As per the 2010 census, there are only 1,706 tigers left in India. Now, here are some questions for you to answer orally. First, which is the largest bird of prey in the world? Name 4 animals that are found in South America. Name 3 birds found in Australia. What is meant by extinction? List 3 ways to conserve wildlife. And lastly, which natural activities destroy wildlife? CITES prohibits trade in animal products. It also says that conservation of vegetation and wildlife go together since animals are dependent on natural vegetation. Another international body called WWF, that stands for Worldwide Fund for Nature, promotes welfare and conservation of wildlife. Now, let's again connect to geography one last time. National park, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves have been set up in many countries to conserve wildlife. Now, let us wrap up the session and see what we have learned so far. First, tropical and temperate forests have evergreen and deciduous forests. Coniferous trees are found in the taiga regions. Tropical and temperate grassland have grasses. Cactus, thorny bushes and shrubs are found in hot desert. Mosses, lichens and short grasses cover the ground in the tundra regions. All countries have a wide variety of wildlife depending on their climate and natural vegetation. Grasslands are inhabited by grass-eating animals as well as flesh-eating animals. And lastly, we must conserve natural vegetation and wildlife to protect our ecosystem. That was it for today. I hope that you have learned something. We will meet again in the next class.